What's going on, you guys? Welcome to another episode of Who Gives a Dram, and on this episode, we are doing our first straight corn whiskey on the podcast. Today, we're doing the infamous Mellow Corn. What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Who Gives a Dram, episode 28. 28 episodes in, whoever would have thought. You're probably wondering, well, if you're watching the video podcast, you're probably wondering, Connor, I know you're cool as shit, but why do you have your sunglasses on inside? The answer is, I just got back from going out, and I sat down to record the podcast because I literally have zero time to record in the next few days when I need to get this episode out, and I haven't taken them off. And I thought to myself, I made a conscious decision in my head. I'm gonna start the podcast with my sunglasses on, and if I could, I would play that song, "Wear Your Sunglasses at Night." I wear my sunglasses at night. I'd play that song right now, but I'd probably get taken down off of YouTube. So I've been using Pretty New Diamond by Nick Bossy for every single episode, and I still get a copyright claim every single episode, but that's not the point. The point is, I'm just wearing my sunglasses. I'll take them off, though. So here I am. Here we are. Another episode. That was so dumb. I'm not going to lie, you guys. I'm excited for today's episode. Before we get into today's episode, though, I want to shout out my favorite whiskey glass, Snoot Glass. Just the best nosing and tasting whiskey glasses. They just look freaking awesome. Sleek design, perfect design for tasting and nosing whiskey properly, especially with the summer. With summer now upon us, with summer here, or spring and summer here, depending on when you listen to this. This glass is perfect for sipping whiskey outside in any environment, on the lake, on the boat, by the fire, doing yard work, or whatever. Whenever you're drinking whiskey outside, this is great because you can drop it and nothing's going to happen. So if you want to try out this whiskey glass or any other Snoot glassware, any other fantastic Snoot glassware, go to www.snootglass.com and enter the promo code WG8020 for 20% off your entire order. www.snootglass.com, promo code WG8020 for 20% off your entire order. And also check out the Grapevine Media, all of breaking news, New England sports. We got the Celtics in the playoffs, and my boy Matt is keeping up with the Celtics over there. Pop culture, TV, movies, the whole 9 yards. Check out the Grapevine Media for all of that content, www.thegrapevinemedia.com. So like I said, I am damn excited for today's episode, guys. I don't have a lot of time to record this podcast this week. I got stuff I got places I gotta be, but I set aside this time to review the whiskey that I have on camera right now. Mellow Corn, straight Kentucky corn whiskey. Kentucky corn whiskey. I have been looking for this bottle for such a long time, and it's finally here in my possession. And I bought this bottle a few weeks ago, and I have been saving it for this exact moment. I've been saving it for this podcast. For right now, I've been saving it. So I cannot wait to open up this whiskey right now. I am so freaking excited that I am just, man, I'm just feeling loose. I'm feeling ready. I want to drink some whiskey. We're going to get into a little bit of the history before we drink this whiskey, but man, Mellow Corn. I told a few people that I was able to find Mellow Corn. By the way, I want to shout out the place I got this from. Spencer and Lynn package store in downtown Mystic, Connecticut. I walked in. Funny story. I walked in to this particular package store, not expecting to buy any whiskey. Me and my brother went out after work just to see what we could find for whiskey, not expecting to get anything. Just going, seeing what was on the shelf, seeing some price points at a few local liquor stores, and I straight up told Kale that, dude, the only way I am going to buy a whiskey today. There's only one whiskey I'm willing to spend my money on today. And I'm not going to find it, so I'm safe to say this. If I find Mellow Corn today, I will spend the money on it. Other than that, I don't even care if we find something crazy. I don't want to spend any money today. And that's that. And lo and behold, we walk into Spencer and Lynn. Sun's setting. We go back to the whiskey wall. The sun is hitting the whiskey wall perfectly, making every single bottle glisten like a beautiful angel. But the sun is hitting one bottle in particular, all the way on the bottom shelf. My eyes are going from the top shelf, going down, 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 down. I hit the bottom shelf. The light shines like I've never seen light hit a bottle before. Like the secret, the Holy Grail is in this bottle. That's how the light is shining off this bottle. And it was none other than Mellow Corn. Now, we were wearing our masks because the Connecticut still hadn't done the mask thing yet. So we were wearing our masks, and I audibly gasped out loud. And it actually, my brother heard it like through the mask. I was just like, and I picked it up. I looked at it, and I laughed because I said that I would only spend money on Mellow Corn if I found Mellow Corn, and I didn't think I was going to find Mellow Corn, but I found Mellow Corn. Mellow Corn. So shout out to Spencer and Lynn in downtown Mystic. Great people over there. We were talking to the owner for a little bit about whiskey, and she's very knowledgeable, and she's a very nice person. So shout out to Spencer and Lynn in downtown Mystic. If you're from the area, go check them out. They actually have a fantastic whiskey selection. And they have a lot of whiskeys you don't see at too many other places. So check them out, Spencer and Lynn, downtown Mystic, right past the drawbridge. But yeah, so we found this Mellow Corn. I forgot what I was talking about. Of course, I go off on a tangent and I forget what I was talking about. But I found this Mellow Corn in downtown Mystic, and Oh, now I remember what I was talking about. I hit up a few people that I found it, and my buddy's over at Bourbon with Friends podcast. And by the way, if you haven't checked out Bourbon with Friends, they're like one of the most popular bourbon / whiskey podcasts out right now. They do a great job. Great podcast. Great guys over there. I was talking with them, and they I was like, dude, you won't believe what I found today. I found some Mellow Corn. And he just wrote back to me, yeah, Mellow Corn sucks. Did it make me a little nervous? Yeah. Did it make me a little disappointed? A little bit. But everyone's palate is different, and every other review that I've seen about Mellow Corn has been a good review. They don't like it over there, but that's okay because everyone has their own palate. Everyone has their own, distinct whiskey taste that they like, and there's nothing wrong with that. So, that made me laugh. Shout out to Bourbon with Friends. They're good people over there. Good, great whiskey podcast. So that made me a little nervous to try it, but here we are. I have this. Bottle is sealed. I have not opened it. It's a twist top, which means it's going to be good. I have not opened this bottle. This is the first time on the podcast that we're doing a live first reaction tasting to anything, I think. I don't think I've tasted anything for the first time on the podcast yet. But this is the time. This is the time. We're having a good day today, man. I got a great workout in. I stepped on the scale yesterday, and I didn't like the number I saw. And I've been working out here and there, but I stepped on the scale. And granted, did I eat an entire chicken parm grinder before I stepped on the scale? Yeah. Is that going to affect the number? Yeah. Did it still make me feel really bad? Yeah. So I told myself that shred season's coming, and your boy's going to get shredded. Fight camp. I'm treating it like a fight camp. I'm going to train up to the McGregor fight. So I had a really good workout today. I did a lot of sweats. I did a lot of sweats. I sweated a lot. I did some heavy bag work, did some crunches, did some deadlifts, did some just a bunch of stuff out in the barn, in the barn gym that I got, and man, killed it today. Came back here, and now we're doing the podcast. We're drinking some whiskey, and dude, oh man, let's get into the history. Let's get into the history of corn whiskey, and let's get into the what we need to know. I got my notes. So, corn whiskey. There's a few standards for corn whiskey. It has to be at least 80% corn. So, bourbon has to be at least 51% corn. Corn whiskey, to be labeled corn whiskey, needs to be at least 80% corn. So, this has a mash bill of 90% corn, so it's 10% above where it needs to be, and then 10% rye and malted barley. Corn whiskey can be used in new, uncharred, or charred or used charred oak barrels. So unlike bourbon, where it needs to be aged in new barrels, this can be aged in any of the three. Mellow corn is a product of Heaven Hill Distillery, which just so happens to be the distillery we've been doing for the past month with Elijah Craig. And they use used bourbon barrels for their for Mellow corn. So it's aged in used charred oak barrels. And this is labeled as a straight whiskey. Straight whiskey really is most whiskeys, but it has to be aged at least 2 years. However, what's very, very unusual and awesome about Mellow corn is that it is a bottled and bond whiskey. And we've done bottled and bond whiskeys on the podcast in the past. We did Old Tub by Jim Beam, and we did Evan Williams Bottled and Bond. We might have done more. Oh, we did Old Forester. No, that's just 100 proof. I'm sure we've done more. I'm looking at my whiskey cabinet right now. Oh, Colonel E.H. Taylor is Bottled and Bond as well. So Bottled and Bond is a bit different than it changes up the dynamic of Mellow corn a little bit. So Bottled and Bond has to be aged at least 4 years. So that means there's no age statement on Mellow corn, but you know it's at least 4 years old. And it has to be bottled at no less than 100 proof. I think it has to be exactly 100 proof. So 50% alcohol. So this is 100 proof, 50% alcohol, aged at least 4 years. It has to state on the bottle where it is distilled and bottled if it's different. It states right here on the bottle, distilled and bottled by Heaven Hill Distilleries Incorporated. It has to be aged in a federally bonded warehouse under U.S. government supervision. I'm not sure what a federally bonded warehouse, what the implications of that is. We'll get into that into another episode, maybe. It needs to be produced in one distillation season by one distiller. A distillation season is January to June, and July to December, so basically halves of the year. And it has to be produced by one distiller. And it has to be produced in the United States. So that's a little bit of Bottle and Bond facts coming at you. We went over Bottle and Bond a little bit in our previous Bottle and Bond episodes. So if you want to go check out the Jim Beam Old Tub review and the Evan Williams Bottle and Bond review, and even I'm sure we went over a little bit in the Colonel E.H. Taylor small batch review, which I did with my brother Kale, Whiskey with Kin number 2. So that makes Mellow corn super, super interesting when it comes to what's considered a bottom shelf bourbon. Like I said, when the light was hitting this bottle, like the Holy Grail was in it, it was on the bottom shelf. So everything I just said to you, all the implications, it's at least 4 years old. It's 100 proof. It's 80% corn. 90% corn, 10% malted rye and malted barley and rye. No age statement, produced by Heaven Hill. You're probably thinking, yeah, this bottle probably goes for, I don't know, if it's bottom shelf, maybe $30 to $40. And especially with how popular it is right now, $30 to $40. No. MSRP on Mellow corn, $12. Now, I paid a little bit more than $12 for this. I'm fine with it. Perfectly fine with it. But MSRP, most places is $12 for this 750 milliliter bottle. So, we're 16 minutes in. I think it's time to do the first live bottle opening on the podcast. At least the first that I can remember. I might be lying when I say that. I don't think I am. I know I released my initial review for Midwinter Night's Dram on my Instagram way back in October. I think this is the first one. First one. Let's get to it. This is an episode you for sure have to watch on my YouTube, because I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna have some good reactions. All right, big moment. Snoot glass ready. We're gonna open the bottle. Oh yeah. Whew. All right, I'm not even gonna smell it. I'm gonna pour a little bit into my Snoot glass. I am so excited right now. Got a big dumb smile on my face. I've been waiting for Mellow corn for so long. And we're gonna, it's got some bubbles in it. I'm gonna pour a little bit more. Just a tad bit more. Gotta drive in a little bit, but little corn whiskey never hurt nobody. Nick, if you're listening, you should make that a song. Little corn whiskey never hurt nobody. Dude, I'm gonna write that song for you, Nick. And Nick, by Nick I mean Nick Bossy, the guy who does my intro music. A little bit of corn whiskey never hurt nobody. Love it. Next top of the chart country song. Sung by Nick Bossy, written by Who Gives a Dram. All right. Well, guys, we're gonna get into the little sniffing notes here. I am so excited right now. All right, let's get to it. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's so sweet. That's sweet as shit. I'm getting real strong vanilla. Wow. Vanilla, like that corn. I'm getting a real forward note of like green apples. A little bit of like buttery popcorn type of vibe to it. Ooh. Oh. Man. $12 this is. It's okay, so it's let me be frank. It's not the greatest nose I've ever smelled, but you have to keep into consideration this is basically a $10 bottle of whiskey. And it's bottled and bond 4 years old. I mean, I'm not comparing it to Colonel E.H. Taylor, but Colonel E.H. Taylor, if you can find it at MSRP, which is very hard to find, is like between $40 and $45. we'll say $43. This is $10, $12. What's an extra $2? It's 8 quarters. 200 pennies. Yeah, so I'm getting strong vanilla, like very forward vanilla. Very forward vanilla, very forward like green apple fruit, like a sweet fruit. It's just a hint of a subtle sweeter spice like a cinnamon. Oh. I love this podcast. I love doing this. People watch me do this. And that just blows my mind. And people listen to me do this and it just blows my mind. By the way, very thankful for that, obviously. Very thankful for that. Yep, so that's going to be my what I decipher from this nose. Vanilla, green apples, hint of cinnamon, tiny bit of cinnamon, a little bit of spicy notes. I mean, it is 10% rye, so you're gonna have naturally you're gonna have a little bit of a rye spice to it. And that's really it. Nothing overly too complex. I do get a little bit of that maltiness now that I sniff it again. Kind of like how a malted blended Scotch smells, but just so much sweeter. So much sweeter. Let's see what our buddies at Breaking Bourbon say. I wrote down their tasting notes before so we could compare. Nose, youthful corn, vanilla, sweet plantains, and light oak. I guess the oak is present in there too. I don't even know what plantains are. I'm an idiot. I almost get like a Swedish fish smell to this. Does that make sense? Sweet, like, of course okay, you know how Swedish fish, like, you smell them, but they're dry on the outside? Someone's going to understand this. You smell a Swedish fish, but it's almost like a dry sweetness. Now, that might not sound right. That actually might sound very dumb, but it's like the outside, it's not like it's a Sour Patch Kid or something else that's fruity. It's very, like, dry on the outside of a Swedish fish. That's how this smells. Add in vanilla, a little bit of green apple, and a tad bit of cinnamon. That's what this is. This is a vanilla, green apple / Swedish fish with a hint of cinnamon on the nose. But now it's time to consume the whiskey. Cheers, everybody. 28 episodes in. We're on our Corey Dillon episode. Shout out to Corey Dillon. I'm not even a Patriots fan, but legendary running back. I think it was the first NFL jersey I ever had was Corey Dillon. Cheers, you guys. Thank you so much. I'm just so happy I get to have these moments on this podcast with you guys, drinking this new whiskey to me, and just experiencing it with all of you guys who listen and tune in to my podcast. So, cheers. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. That's the first walk off of the podcast. Bro. I'm at a loss for words. What's blowing my mind is this is $12 a bottle. This whiskey does not suck. Right off the bat, it's like a bowl of cereal. That makes sense. It's like if you mixed Cinnamon Toast Crunch with Frosted Flakes. Because it has a bit of that spice on it. It's also 100 proof. Let's not forget that. It's bottled and bond. That's what this tastes like. This tastes like a bowl of sweet cereal. Oh my gosh. Sorry, didn't mean to cough. Yeah, this shit is good. I try not to cuss on this podcast anymore, but I'm sorry. This shit is good. $12 a bottle. This is a man. This does not drink like a $12 bottle of whiskey. This drinks like, triple that. This drinks like it could be a $35 bottle of whiskey. Ugh. Yeah, I'm getting like that. That's just very vanilla sweetness with a hint of cinnamon in there. Light oak. I am getting a little bit of light oak in there. But it's very, very noticeably sweet. That's what I take away from this bottle. If you like sweeter whiskey, you should pick this up if you can find it. If you are a fan of like a sweeter bourbon, what I think of sweet bourbon is like Buffalo Trace, Colonel H. Taylor. I've always thought Henry McKenna is very sweet. Elijah Craig. Those are all very sweet bourbons to me. This takes all the sweetness from those and like multiplies it by 2. There's a straight sweetness in a glass, in a bottle. That's what I get. This is like a bowl of Frosted Flakes, a bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. You mix them up like you're making a potion and you're a witch. You're just mixing it up like this. Maybe mash them like you do if you're like making butter. Or what is it, butter or straw? I don't know. We're making. I think it's jam or jelly. You know how they go in there and they step in it. I know. You know what I'm talking about. When they go in there and step on jelly, it's like you took both those cereals with milk, of course. You stir it up like this, and then you mash it together, and then you take some cinnamon and you just sprinkle it over like Salt Bae, just like that. Sprinkle it over. Blend it all up. Put it in a glass, or age it in oak for like, I guess 4 years. But there's a new scientific way where the milk doesn't go bad. And then you put it in a glass. You sell it for $12. That's Mellow Corn. That's my review. Yep. We had the first walk-off on the podcast right now. That's history. This is a historic episode. Episode 28, the Corey Dillon episode, is a historic episode right now. The first live reaction to a whiskey, the first walk-off, I was wearing my sunglasses to begin and drinking Mellow Corn. You understand? Just having a silly goose time, guys. That's it. You know, I understand that a lot of, professional people listen to this podcast, and I appreciate that. I appreciate the people who take whiskey very, very seriously, as I do. But at the same time, man, I just love messing around, and I love just having a silly goose time. And that's what I try to do on this podcast as well. I try to keep it serious. I try to have a silly goose time. Blend the two together. Who gives a dram? You understand? Let's get into a rating. So, let's say what Breaking Bourbon said about the taste. And I didn't mention the finish. The finish was not, it was like a medium-bodied finish. Definitely spicy on the back end. That rye spice picks up a bit on the back end of the finish. Nothing memorable, but for $12 a bottle, I guess that does make it memorable. Palate: corn, rich vanilla, dried banana chips. Dried banana chips, interesting. I forgot that. I read that before the podcast. I was like, that's weird for a corn whiskey. Nope, I don't get it. The finish, uncomplicated vanilla corn, fruit juice, a bit of heat. Yeah, I agree with that. Fruit juice, I get that more on the nose. I think that fruit juice is kind of like that Swedish fish vibe. Try saying that 5 times fast. Swedish fish, Swedish fish, Swedish fish, Swedish fish, Swedish fish. Oh. I just did it. Never mind. All right. Rating for Mellow corn. It hits all the notes I look for in whiskey. I love sweeter whiskey. Although I like barrel proof the best, I really, really like a sweeter whiskey. That's why I gave Elijah Craig small batch a 9.0. I get a lot of sweet notes from that. Given that this is a 4-year bottle and bond, given the mash bill, given that it's $12 a bottle, the only thing that's gonna make this rating lower than it probably should be is the fact that I cannot find this anywhere near me. I know I have plenty of buddies on Instagram who are more than willing to send me a bottle, but I'd like to just walk into a liquor store and find this. Because of that, and only because of that, this is not going to be in the 9s. This is going to be an 8.9. Stamp it. Who gives a dram? 8.9. Mellow corn. This whiskey is fantastic. This is a whiskey that is just... If you're not into sweet whiskeys, you won't like this, but if you are, this is like, for the price that you're going to pay most of the time, this is it. This is the whiskey you drink. You can mix it. You can drink it straight. I'm sure it tastes great on the rocks too, because it has the proof to be able to give away some to that ice and to that water. 4 years, bottle and bond, 100 proof, $12. I'm so happy. I'm so happy I found this, and I'm so happy that we were able to experience the first tasting live together. On that note, I gotta get going. Make sure you follow the podcast on Instagram at Who Gives a Dram. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever else you listen to your podcast. Make sure you're subscribed. At 100 subscribers on YouTube, I think I'm at 54 at the time of this recording. At 100 subscribers, I'm going to drop my merch store. I'm still working on it a little bit, but I've been working on it for a long time. I'm going to drop my merch store at 100 subscribers. So go on, subscribe on YouTube, and let's make this merch store happen. So you guys who are fans of the podcast can support the podcast in some way by buying some merch. Until next week, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I had so much fun this episode, and a historic episode for Who Gives a Dram, an episode that's going to go down in the annals of history as being a historic whiskey episode on Who Gives a Dram. Nick Bossy's playing me out. Pretty New Diamond. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Up in New England, that girl sure loved me. We got together and brought things to life. So I did buy her a pretty new diamond and asked that sweet woman if she'd be my wife. Kind of feeling love songs are made of. With that sweet woman, spend the rest of my life. Before she came along, I was hurting, but at the end of my tunnel, I saw no light. Broke my heart and I can't keep going. Guess I'll just sit here and get drunk tonight. Vows they meant nothing, and she ran to a stranger, and with Johnny Walker I'm passing my time. And I asked the Lord, what should I do? But I'm too drunk to hear him tonight. So sit with my bottle while Hank Sr.'s singing, I'm so lonesome I could cry. Gave me back that pretty new diamond and broke my heart a second time. But I got the last laugh when I pawned off her ring, 'cause I bought me a dime bag and a case of Coors Light. And I asked the Lord, what should I do? But I'm too drunk to hear him tonight. So sit with my bottle while Hank Sr.'s singing, I'm so lonesome I could cry. So sit with my bottle while Hank Sr.'s singing, I'm so lonesome I could